All right. This time we're going to do a pasta bake. It's basically just baked spaghetti, pretty much. But I can't call it baked spaghetti because I'm not using actual spaghetti noodles, and my husband loses his mind if you call it spaghetti and it's not legit spaghetti noodles. Anyways, pasta bake. We're going to ground our brown our ground beef. Goodness gracious. Cook our noodles. Mix in the sauce with the ground beef. Mix that all together. I'm going to mix in a little bit of cheese in all of that, put it in here, and then top it with cheese, and then bake it. So, first things first, we're going to cook the beef. Alright, same as always, ground beef in the skillet. I'm just going to cook this up until it's nice and brown. Ignore that, that's the baby. Alright, so actually mix it up. Pot of boiling water, or fixing to be boiling water. But I put it over on this burner because that's my power burner. Still rounding up the ground beef and waiting on water to boil for noodles. That's where we're at. Okay, another little pro tip. So the meat that I'm using this time, it's from our local butcher shop, but it's not the local beef that I used before. And so this will need to be strained. So instead of, don't pour grease down your drain. First off, don't do that. Save your tinfoil if it's not super nasty. Like this was from when I did a batch of cookies. Save your tinfoil, and then you just put it in a bowl, and then put your strainer in that. So then when you strain it, that grease just goes in the tinfoil. You can sit this back on the counter until it hardens up, and then you just ball it up and throw it away. Okay. Alright, noodles in boiling water. This one's pretty self-explanatory. There's a little bit of salt in the water. Alright, noodles are just about done. Pull these and strain these too. I threw the meat back into the pan. It has been strained, but I put the meat back in the pan because I need the strainer for the noodles. Pro tip: when you are straining your pasta noodles, rinse them off with cool water, just a little bit, because if you leave them just hot and steaming, they will continue to cook. Okay. All right. Pasta back in the pot. I'm going to add in the ground beef and then grab the sauce. But I'm going to pause to do that because this cast iron is heavy and kind of hot. So I don't want to do that just one-handed. Alright, mixing everything into the big pot. Just regular old pasta sauce. Going in. Alright. Alright, when you're doing your pasta sauce jar, take your jar and put the lid back on and tap it a few times. And let the rest of the sauce run down. And then you pour it in there. Alright, some people add water and then you can shake the jar, which you can do that too, but it doesn't matter. Alright, we're going to give all of this a good mix in. And I'm going to taste it, and we're probably going to add a little bit of salt and pepper, a little bit of garlic. That's the cakes making noise. The baby's new favorite toy is an empty cookie tin from Christmas, and it's very loud. Alright, I'm going to mix this up, give it a taste, and then we'll decide what kind of spices we want to add. Alright, definitely going to add garlic, and then I had like a comically small amount of oregano and basil left. Why I didn't use that up last time I used them, I don't know. So I'm going to go ahead and throw them in there. Alright, spices are in. I'm going to give that a stir. Alright, I'm going to add some cheese to it now, but then I'm also going to top it with cheese. I like to do a mix of cheddar and mozzarella, both in it and on the top. That's just what I prefer, but you can use whatever you want to. And technically you could add like whatever you wanted to this, right? Like you could dice up an onion, you could throw in some extra garlic, you could add, you know, Italian sausage or bell peppers or whatever. It's just every ingredient you add is more costly, right? So we're just keeping it basic and simple, and that's the cheapest way to go. So I'm gonna add a little bit of cheddar, roughly, I don't know, like maybe a half a cup or so. Same amount with the mozzarella. Okay. Alright, I added that much cheese. However much cheese that much cheese is. I don't know. Half cup, 3/4 of a cup, I'm not really sure. Mix this up, and then we're going to put it into the casserole dish. Alright, it's in the casserole dish. I'm just going to top it with cheese. Alright, cheese is on top, going into the oven at 350 until this is all nice and melty and bubbly. Alright, it's out of the oven, all baked up. Ready to go. There you go, baked pasta.